My boyfriend wasted 2 hours of my day, so I wasted an hour of his and made him cry. For some background, my boyfriend, 24 male, is very dedicated to public service and volunteering and a very hard worker. On top of his crazy schedule, he also has a very built physique and is very dedicated to the gym. I found his ability to work hard, take care of his body, all while helping others, very admirable and physically attractive. A guy that does volunteering and aims to work in public service should be a good guy, right? I, 19 female, often found myself feeling like he never respected my time. He would ask to come over on days where I had classes the next morning. He admitted into pressuring me into intimate activity. Every time I confronted him with my feelings, he would always say, "I'm sorry you feel that way." He said I was ignoring him if I didn't respond to his messages or calls quickly, even if my phone was away. In the past, I was too clingy because I would message him too much, and was too demanding by expecting him to take 3 seconds out of his day to message me good morning back. He forgot to get me a Valentine's gift as he had no time, so he gave me a cheap, expired, chocolate bar from his car. Eventually he apologized because he didn't know it meant that much to me and bought me 2 Sour Patch candies and a protein drink. All I asked for was a handwritten note from him. So yesterday I slept over at his place. We showered separately. I took 20 minutes, he took well over an hour. I had to keep knocking on his door to get him to hurry up as we had plans. He took his sweet time as showering was his alone time, and we missed our date plans as he had to go to the gym. Today I slept over again. I tried waking him up earlier so we wouldn't miss our rescheduled date. He took 2 hours in the shower and I couldn't go upstairs to knock on the door as his parents were walking around. We haven't met yet, so I had to spend almost 2 hours confined in his room. 1 hour in, I texted and called him, informing him of the time. He had his phone in the shower and said he would hurry up. Half an hour later he was still in the shower. Another 30 minutes and he was finally getting dressed. We no longer had time for our date again, so he was going to drop me back as he was getting late for the gym. He seemed surprised that I was angry at him. He said I was exaggerating 2 hours, but I remembered the time and I even sent him time reminders over text. I was fuming in the car and I told him to skip the gym as wasting 2 hours of my time, the second day in a row, was unacceptable. He said that the shower was his me time and he really needed it. He also said he couldn't miss the gym as he had to get bigger. I asked him if the gym was more important than me and said we could simply reschedule our date for tomorrow. Eventually we reached my apartment. He told me to go inside and we could call and talk about my angry feelings. I refused to leave. I told him that he wasted 2 hours of my day, so I would waste an hour of his and he would have to skip the gym. So I stayed in his car for an hour. He tried to leave, but I raised my voice at him. I told him he was selfish and had no respect for others' time and that it was unacceptable. I had never raised my voice at him before or done anything vengeful, so he was startled. He disagreed and repeated he was a good person that respected others' time. He said he simply wasn't aware of the time, but I responded with the fact that he had his phone and you can check the time there. He said he lost track of time, but then I told him I even called and texted the time. He went quiet and started crying, pouting, and stomping his legs. He kept repeating, "I've never felt this way. I feel so claustrophobic. I want to go to the gym, please let me go." I refused. I said if he's feeling claustrophobic he can take a walk around the area, but I wouldn't leave the car for another hour. I also told him he wouldn't be late for work so he wouldn't die skipping the gym for one day. He cried and said he already missed half of his gym time yesterday, and I told him it was his own fault due to his poor use of shower time. He continued sitting there, pouting and crossing his arms, sniffling and stomping his feet in the footwell. 40 minutes in, he said, "So you really wanted to end this way?" I said I was fed up with his behavior, so I was fine either way. He continued crossing his arms and pouting while refusing to apologize. Eventually I got out of the car and went upstairs while he drove off. I haven't messaged him all day and he hasn't messaged me either. This guy was my first real boyfriend, my first kiss, my first everything. We've been dating for over 4 months. I don't know if it's right to throw everything away like this, but I also don't really care. I feel so happy with my small victory.